gonna all just do a quick panel here and just pander to you guys for a second. So can I first bring up Jason Bateman, who played Michael in the episodes? And we'll just all come up. Portia, Will, Alia, Tony, Jessica, David, Chris, and Jeffrey Campbell. Yes, and the rest of the audience.
Hi.
Oh man, so we're I'm the moderator. You're just sitting right here. Oh yeah. Yeah, you
But I get this.
yeah. Hi you guys. So I'm in the position of I get to be the moderator here. And that means that
Check, 1, 2, check.
that's a moderator.
Check.
That's my job. I haven't had a lot of experience asking questions. I'm more of a question answerer, so bear with me. These will just be as they occur to me. And maybe we'll start with David, and everybody could just chime in. David, what time is it?
0.
Okay. Alia, anything you want to add to?
David's right.
No, the challenge is asking questions whereby the answers don't make me look bad. That was so fun seeing everybody together and seeing it with an audience. I've only done that a couple times.
That's the only way I've ever watched the rest of the
Right, you just saw that
Yeah.
and the pregnancy show. Yeah, that one from season 3.
What about how great your work is?
No, no,
I mean,
no.
the writing and just the editing, the putting together of all that stuff, Mitch, is just
that's a
stunning.
question.
But you let me.
I'm the moderator.
You don't like praise, but this guy, he's got an
Jason's
editing,
always done this.
he's got an editing machine in his house, and he shaves seconds and frames off of stuff and creates
That's
all
so
of that
much-
great timing.
Well, I've had a lot of experience shaving things off of things. That's just kind of a
He's
hobby.
got his swim times.
Jason
are
has always done this to
incredible.
me. Jason made the first season of Arrested so much about me that almost, I think it was like during the final episode, I realized like, hey, I've never praised you. I've just said thanks, man. I mean, unbelievably generous, and you guys are all. I am stunned by the performances, as I always am. But this year, I just really feel that it was more about the actors. And I guess the first question is, how difficult is it to step back into this? Is there any preparation at all? Like, I really mean it. Do you watch the
You're not
shows, or
looking
do you
at a
just
bunch of
feel like you
stepping
know
actors here.
who they are at this point?
We don't do any prep, do we? No. There's no.
I mean, the only easy part in the whole thing is Tobias.
I'll go on IMDb to refresh my memory of who all these folks are and what they've done and why I should care.
I mean, it is a long time between seasons. It is what you said early on. Michael acted every 7 years. And I mean, I suppose you see a little, I mean, I can't imagine any of you actually watch the show. Do you? Do you prepare?
Watch the show to prepare.
Well, like for instance, let's take you, Jason. I mean, you're doing this amazing drama that you're directing and executive producing, and doing all this editing work and into this whole other headspace. And you just step in here. It doesn't seem like you really rehearse a lot. So no, really. I mean, you shoot so fast that by the time I get down to the stage, you're just running the scene. How challenging is it to find these voices again?
Well, I am in a different situation because I don't like to sweat a lot when I'm acting, so I try to play characters that are very close to me. And if the character's not written that way, I just by the third or fourth episode, he kind of is me. It's we won't bore you guys all with patting all each other on the backs, but it is truly really simple. Doing what you give us to do and then doing it all together. I'm sure everybody would agree that it is like just jumping on a bike, and that's, I think, one of the main reasons we all come back together to do this all the time is because we just love doing this together, and it is so simple. I think all of us kind of fall into these characters really easily.
I wonder if part of that is that you're together. You know what I mean? That it is like revisiting a family, kind of, and suddenly, whenever we do those big scenes, like the scene in episode 3 with the whole family there, I'm always struck by just how much of a home run hitter each one of you is, and how you play off each other. So, but I guess what you're saying is you just do it. You don't. It's not an intellectual process.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I'll tell you, it was. I mean, chime in, guys. But season 4, which was incredibly difficult from a creative standpoint, and really admirable what you try to do to interface with the whole Netflix thing that was starting there, where everything gets released at the same time. But part of that creative challenge was that everybody got their own episode, and so consequently, we were working with a bunch of different actors all the time. And it was, at least from my standpoint, it was hard.
It was different.
It was hard to play the character.
Less fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're like, Michael Bluth is nothing without Jessica or Jeffrey, and vice versa. Like we're.
I know it is so funny. Every combination. I mean, it's delightful to see you and Tony in those early scenes, and you and Joe, for instance, and to see you and Michael on the balcony, and I mean, just really every combination has been just fun to be a part of. Portia, wasn't around as much this year because she was starting her business, and I felt that absence. I mean, I felt like that was a difference, in the way we kind of interact.
Her photo double was incredible.
Yeah,
she just really was.
She's in one of the
stand up for once. No.
Yeah.
It actually was kind of difficult for me to find Lindsay again without everybody.
And you came in late.
I came in late, and I did a lot of my scenes with you, which was great. But by myself with a green screen, and it's incredible to actually see it all cut together.
I know, it does feel like.
Because now I'm like, oh, that's who I was talking to.
But we did have. I thought it was a tennis ball. But we did have. I mean, we did have at least a day where we were all on location.
That was
great.
there,
and that was special. I mean,
it made a huge difference. I mean, it's funny. It's always the writing that brings you right back into character because it's so specific to all of us, and it's so easy because it just is your character.
Well, I mean,
it's always
the other thing that's happened since we started this is everybody. I mean, at least half of these people are showrunners now, and I mean, Alia's got 6 different hats she wears, and is a storyteller, and does this amazing show. And just in case there are Emmy voters here, I would say it's the second funniest show on TV. So that must inform. I mean, I don't know how much to give away here, but I certainly felt that you guys were bringing other skills to it this year, and we really had. I mean, you were very helpful to me, and I remember you saying, like, you don't have to be as much of a perfectionist. We can take this the rest of the way. We know what we're doing.
Well, I think, Will, you said it in something I read where, Mitch gave us all careers, and we all went away and worked on those careers that he gave us, and then we got to come back, each time and be a little bit better at what we do, and then on top of what you're always great at doing, and then I think it becomes better and better each time.
I mean, I feel like I said it more succinctly than that. But you got the gist of it,
Should read it. It's a good article.
Do you? What happens? Do you find, I get a lot of Arrested Development stuff. I'm not as people don't recognize me the way they must recognize you. Do you still get a lot of Arrested Development comments, or has that waned a little bit? I know there was a time when that was.
All the time.
Wow, why?
I got, in my hotel, I got, from room service, I got 2 frozen bananas today.
Well, no, when room service does it, that's a fuck you. Have you not been tipping?
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. No, it is a funny thing. Does it bug you? It must be. I mean, you can't hear him do the chicken dance.
I get that all the time.
You do.
The chicken thing, yeah.
I also don't. Oh, sorry.
No, please.
I also don't remember stuff. So when people come up and say, "Oh, do you remember when this happened?" And I'm like, I genuinely don't. So please help me.
But sometimes they won't say, "Do you remember?" They'll just say the thing, and you're like, "What?"
Like they mentioned the doctor's name that came out when my hand was cut off, and they said his name, and I thought it was from a different show. Like, I don't remember that name.
Oh, yeah.
It is so cold in this room. Is anybody else freezing?
I love that line. That's a famous Tony. That was Buster season 1. You had a very low threshold. I was with. I mean, I don't know. I think that's got to be challenging. I was with you. This was like 15 years ago when you were making a movie in New York, and I just visited for a day, and the cops drove by, and over the loudspeaker they said, "Hey now." You remember that? And like screwed up a take and everything. But I mean,
this reminds me of when you and I first knew each other, and we lived in near the ocean, and you were walking into the coffee place, and you had this legal pad. And I said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm making some notes about this family."
Yeah.
And
it was a family I was suing at the time. No, it's true. And I remember, well, I mean, I've said this before, but I was writing Tobias, I was picturing you as Tobias. And then I told Jill Clayburgh that because she loved the script. And she said, "Oh, no, that makes it too sad." That's too sad. How old are you picturing these people? It was like, I don't know, in their 50s. And she said, no, they've got to have some hope. And then David, I remember talking to you when we were starting, and I think I basically said to you, just any part you want. And I was very worried you were going to sing Michael.
I was a little worried too.
Yeah, you were. It was obviously before Jason was around, but that was a long time ago. It's hard to believe it was 15 years ago.
Was it hard to get Fox? We've never talked about this. Was it hard to get? I remember when I read this script, and certainly the cover. There was a cover letter that came with the script that said any actors that are not that would be off-put by having their dressing room be super small, and there's going to be no lights, no makeup, no marks on the floor. This is going to be very bare bones, kind of almost like a student film. So, don't be a bitch, basically. Or don't come in.
I remember that it said we're trying to do it guerrilla filmmaking style. No makeup? Ooh.
Well, gorillas don't wear a lot of makeup.
So was Fox on board with this?
There was such an entitlement on my part. I mean, audacious. I just always thought this would happen. I haven't felt that way.
But was Fox on board with not spending as much money as they would normally? I'm shocked that they would agree to that.
I know. Well, it was a very long script. And I remember with the outline, at first you said, Gail Berman said, "Well, there's no way you can make this outline, it's too long." Remember that? And you were part-time, and I guess it was Tony, David, and Jeffrey, right? Weren't you all originally just part-time?
I was
definitely 6 episodes.
Yeah.
You were only supposed to do the pilot, right?
You called me and said, "Hey, pal,
Yeah.
You want to come in and do a day?"
Yeah. Did I ever tell you who we couldn't get?
Well, no, tell me.
There's no.
Frank Stallone.
I think a movie based on
Frank Stallone.
But I remember that I was last on the list for Lucille.
No, I don't.
You've been to,
you were in
a
New
lot
York.
of people.
You were in New York.
Yeah, but I went on tape.
Yeah. Well, well, they were demanding on seeing everybody. It was a big deal. I mean, the most notable moment was Will Arnett, who the pilot was about to fall apart, and Sandy Grushow said to me that you don't have the brother, you don't have the mother. This is how pilots fall apart. And the casting director jumped up and said, "I have Will Arnett who's going to be on tape." And I said, "He's the best." I have no idea. And you came in. Nobody, all great actors, auditioning, but nobody, well, there's nobody like Will Arnett, but nobody came close to playing the character that way.
I remember reading, I didn't get the full script, I got sides, and I remember reading it on the subway up to audition. I remember thinking, this script, somehow, 15 years from now, I'm going to be in a contract dispute with Fox, and how...
You nailed it.
I don't know how
you nailed it.
It came to me like a fucking
amazing.
God shot.
Yeah.
And
You just totally ignored that feeling.
anyway, I mean, the warmth is still with me. No, I'm kidding, y'all.
But the worst
I'm
was
kidding.
when I just, I loved him instantly. And then after the audition, I came out. I said, "You got it! You did great!" And I looked over, and Rainn Wilson was there waiting to audition.
Yeah, it was bad. It was terrible. That was a terrible moment because having been that other
Oh, it was
that
awful.
guy, and I was like, "Hey, keep it down." That dude's still over there. I knew Rainn a little bit. It was,
Yeah.
That was a really.
Yeah.
That was a great.
You did all right.
He did fine.
Yeah, he did fine.
Yeah. Well, his show stayed on the air.
Didn't we all audition?
Well, we all read the final time
Okay.
together.
We
Yeah, I knew Tony a little bit to say hi to, and his now wife, then girlfriend, was working in New York. And we
Martell
kinda-
worked on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that's right. And thanks for bringing that up, Mitch. Jeez.
And Amy was on that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah, I remember it was raining New York. But we all came in. We all read at Fox the last day, and Jessica was
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
and
Tony,
and Tony and I were staying at the hotel around the corner. We walked over together. Remember?
And by the way,
Last time we
directed
held
by
hands.
the Russo brothers, who are, I think, the most successful directors
Yeah.
of all time
Yeah.
at this point, which is shocking. Did you?
It is because
No, because they're not very good. No. I don't mean that. I don't think the movie's good.
But Joe Russo
It's a headline.
Joe Russo is such a casual, relaxed
Oh my God,
guy,
the best.
and he's so mellow. And I worked with him on another show, and he would be like working on his fantasy football, and like, "Hey, where's the food?" He'd be eating there. Oh yeah, cut, or action. What?
Amazing.
But I mean, he's a brilliant guy.
Did you guys feel, just back to this idea of being showrunners, and I just point to Alia, who's done, I felt that there was more storytelling going on, like that you guys were taking the lead a little bit. As Alia's kind of best stuff happens really starting the next episode, where she has this other alter ego, and it really was unlike anything I've seen you do. It must be a
Well, being so young too, like 14, 15, I remember just doing the lines kind of like, wasn't even aware of what we were doing. We would just like say the lines and be like, all right, cool, we'll get some snacks and then we'll go back to school.
I can't even
Like, that was
I can't
it.
imagine how long ago that seems to you.
Yeah,
Like to
fuck.
people like Jeffrey and I, it seems like about 4 years ago. But you were 13.
Yeah, when we did the pilot, yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, the way approaching it too, like coming back from 5 years ago to now.
Was your
So
first?
different.
Was your first kiss with Michael Cera? Was that Michael Cera's
Yes.
first kiss?
It was my first kiss, and my dad was on set, and I was terrified. Michael was more terrified.
Is that not Michael's first kiss?
No, I don't think
Oh,
it was.
it's Canadian.
Yeah, they get real lucky up there. No, but yeah, I remember.
Well, technically, I was Michael's first kiss because I had to show him,
right, how to do it.
how to do it.
Yeah, I remember that was weird. You went to a different room with him.
It was not weird. It was beautiful. Well, I have. It has been such a privilege. I truly mean that to work with you guys and to
The privilege was out.
No, really,
To work really.
it's just been it's the highlight of my my life, my professional life. It's I mean,
Right back at you.
it's if I had to include my family, I would say yeah, it's a little better. It pays a little better, certainly. No, it really. I mean, it is kind of stunning that we're all still here looking at each other, and it's a real privilege. And it was. I hope you were happy. Thank you guys for staying.
Jason's available for selfies for the next 20 minutes.